everyone and welcome to a new video. I am currently putting on my jewellery, hence why I'm moving around, because I'm in a little bit of a rush. This is going to be another reading vlog. I am going into my nearest town today actually to get my nails done. My Christmas nails are so grown out, so I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to do a bit of book shopping. I thought that we only had a Waterstones in our nearest town, but I think we actually also have like a little independent bookshop, so I'm going to also go there and see what takes my fancy. But I also do want to do some book shopping once I'm back in Edinburgh, so I don't want to go crazy today and then have nothing to get when I'm back in Edinburgh. So yeah, we'll just see where the day takes me. So I'm now home from my little outing. It was a really nice day actually, and I bought a few books. I sat in a cafe and read for a bit. Also got my nails done, which no one will really care about, but it's like this light blue colour. But yeah, I bought some books, so I thought I'd do a little book haul of the books that I picked up. There were some that I was looking for that weren't there. Also this morning I had a belated Christmas present given to me by my mum and dad. They forgot to give this to me. They bought it when they were visiting my sister in Ledbury. There's a little bookshop there. It's Aldous, I'm sorry if that's not how you pronounce it. I'm just going to say with all of the names and authors, if I'm not pronouncing it right, I'm sorry. It's Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, and the blurb is, all things considered, it looks as though utopia were far closer to us than anyone only 15 years ago could have imagined. Then I projected it 600 years into the future. Today it seems quite possible that the horror may be upon us within a single century. So I think this is a dystopian fiction book. I don't know a great deal about it, but I had seen it on Goodreads and it was a book that I was like, oh, I think I would quite like that. And my dad's always quite good at picking books that I will like, and it's quite cool that it comes from a little bookshop in Ledbury. It's such a tiny book as well. Like, this is a normal size book. This is how small it is, so it'll be a good one to read when I'm like traveling or something. So then in Waterstones they had a deal on where it was buy one get one half price. The Midnight Library by Haig was part of that deal. This is a very, very famous book. You've probably read it. I'll read the blurb anyway. So Nora's life has been going from bad to worse. Then at the stroke of midnight on her last day on Earth, she finds herself transported to a library. There she's given a chance to undo her regrets and try out each of the other lives she might have lived, which raises the ultimate question: with infinite choices, what is the best way to live? I love the sound of this. I heard, is it Coco Days? I know her name is Coco, I can't remember her YouTube thing, I'll put it on screen. But she said she loved this book and it made her feel reassured and just quite a good almost self-help book in a way. And I've actually started reading this. I was umming and ahhing about my whole selection, which book I wanted to read, but I decided to start reading this. I need something at the minute that it's going to make me feel like I'm on the right path in life, because I'm doubting myself constantly. I'm on page 53. I did start reading it on the bus on the way home, but I got really travel sick, so I had to stop. But so far I'm really enjoying it. And then the other book that was also in that deal that I picked up is Small Pleasures by Claire Chambers. I love this cover. Isn't it just gorgeous? With the oranges and the blue, it reminds me of summer. So 1957, the suburbs of southeast London. Jean Swinney is a journalist on a local paper, trapped in a life of duty and disappointment from which there is no likelihood of escape, when a young woman, Gretchen Tilbury, contacts the paper to claim that her daughter is the result of a virgin birth. It is down to Jean to discover whether she is a miracle or a fraud. As the investigation turns her quiet life inside out, Jean is suddenly given an unexpected chance at friendship, love, and possibly happiness. But there will inevitably be a price to pay. I thought this sounded kind of a bit different, a bit quirky, not the way I would expect the book to go from the cover. Yeah, I just quite like the sound of this. I hear it has very mixed reviews, but I love a book that seems a bit weird, and I think this seems a bit weird. Also, whilst I was in Waterstones, I picked up Sally Rooney, Conversations with Friends. Again, you will probably read this, very popular book, but here we go anyway. Frances is 21 years old, cool-headed and observant. A student in Dublin and an aspiring writer, at night she performs spoken word with her best friend Bobby, who used to be her girlfriend. When they are interviewed and then befriended by Melissa, a well-known journalist who is married to Nick, an actor, they enter into a world of beautiful houses, raucous dinner parties and holidays in Brittany. But when Frances and Nick get unexpectedly closer, the sharp, witty and emotion-averse Frances is forced to honestly confront her own vulnerabilities for the first time. I think this sounds good. I didn't read Normal People. I've not read anything by Sally Rooney. I may read Normal People, but because I've watched the show, I just feel like I will find myself getting bored, but we'll see if I enjoy this. I want to read this because I know it's going to be turned into a show, so this might actually be the next one that I read. So the final book that I got in Waterstones is Bradbury Fahrenheit 451. I am really excited to read this book. I was looking through Goodreads through like a dystopian fiction section, shock horror, and I read about this and I was like, that sounds right up my street. So, Guy Montag is a fireman. His job is to destroy the most illegal of commodities, the source of all discord and unhappiness, the printed book. Montag never questions the destruction or his own bland life until he is shown a past where people didn't live in fear and a present where one sees the world through ideas. Montag starts hiding books in his home. Soon they'll make him run for his life. Just sounds really like dystopian 1984 vibes, and I'm just really excited to read this book. Then I went into a little independent bookshop and I picked up 2 books in there. I picked up Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. What a gorgeous cover. I absolutely love that. Again, this is a very popular book. It doesn't sound like the kind of thing I would usually enjoy, but I've heard so much good reviews about it that I'm gonna give it a go. So, for years, rumours of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be loved. The 2 young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty. Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. I want to read this, but I don't think I'll be reading it next. I think I might save it till maybe the summer. And then the final book that I picked up is American Dirt by Janine Cummins. Now, this book I've heard nothing about. Apparently it is very popular. I have not heard anything about it. The lady in the bookshop recommended it. I asked her for some book recommendations. She gave me a few and this was the one that sounded like I would like it the most. So it says, Lydia Perez owns a bookshop in Acapulco, I think, and is married to a fearless journalist. Luca, their 8-year-old son, completes the family. But it only takes a bullet to rip them apart. In a city in the grip of a drug cartel, friends become enemies overnight, and Lydia has no choice but to flee with Luca at her side, north for the border, whatever it takes to stay alive. The journey is dangerous, not only for them, but for those they encounter along the way. Who can be trusted, and what sacrifices is Lydia prepared to make? American Dirt shines a beam of light into a world where a mother's love for her son and the kindness of strangers might just triumph. This extraordinary novel has sold over 1 million copies since publication. It's time to read what you've been missing. Is it now? The lady in the bookshop said she couldn't put it down. I love asking for book recommendations because, like I said, I really know nothing. So yeah, I bought 6 books. I told myself I'd be buying 2. Didn't happen. I really wanted to get Norwegian Wood, but everywhere I looked they didn't have it. Waterstones said that they had it, but someone must have just bought it. I was so gutted, but never mind. The Love Hypothesis I saw, but I think I'm going to hang back and wait to buy that one. And there were a few others that I now... Oh yeah, Colleen Hoover. Is it Hoover? I saw It Ends With Us, but I want to read Ugly Love too, so I might read them around the same time. But anyway, at the minute, this is what I'm reading. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna now go for a shower, get in my pajamas, get all cozy. I need to edit a video and I'm gonna be reading this.
In every wrong, beautiful to see the world that way. You'll say yes to anything, believe in what they say. Take a walk with your ultraviolets that fill my soul. Your ultraviolet. And every time I know the truth.
So I am in bed chilling with some panettone that we have left over from New Year's Day. I have read 120 pages of Midnight Library. I actually think I'm a quicker reader than I give myself credit for. Like, when it comes to university articles, I take so long to read. Sorry if the lighting is changing, by the way, that's Netflix that's doing that. Hang on. Besides the point, I am loving this book. Genuinely loving. Like, I am struggling to fault it at the minute. I'm not going to give a full review yet, but just the actual story, I feel just like it has such a strong message that I'm already getting. And I just love the writing style. Like, there are just sprinkles of humour dotted around the book. It's not too much, it's not overbearing, but it's just enough. Love this book so far. I'm so glad I picked it up. I think I might even finish it tomorrow. It's probably incredibly windy, so sorry if you can't hear me, but I'm on a walk. It's kind of a bit icy, but the view up here is so nice. You can see for like miles. It's about like maybe 12:30ish. I haven't started reading yet today because I've been doing uni work and some other things. I also have some cleaning to do this afternoon, but I really want to finish the Midnight Library today. That's going to be a goal. I don't know if I'll manage, but it's a relatively short book, so that's the plan when I get home. I have made a chai. As you will have seen, how that mug is hot. Cutest mug ever. It's one of those ones that like the picture appears as you pour it. It's got my dogs on it. And I've also made, maybe a bit weird, but a mince pie because my mum got loads of them in Asda the other day for a really reduced price. And I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna read. I'm feeling sitting on the floor, to be honest. Sometimes I just really love to sit on the floor. I'm on page 21. Yeah, I can smell the mince pie. It's making me hungry, so I'm gonna dig into that and read this. So I'm now on page 245 out, I think like 280 something. I have just made a hot chocolate. I read for a bit in the bath earlier, and that bath one I used like a really citrus one. It was so nice. And then I made dinner and I've just been reading, FaceTime my boyfriend for a bit, and now I am determined that I'm gonna finish this book. I kind of don't want to though, like I'm really enjoying it. Hello from me and this very plain background. I've decided to sit on the floor today where I usually do my makeup because the light stays quite good here and it is getting a little bit into the day now. I haven't filmed all day because I've been doing uni work, went for a walk. I've just not been reading. But last night I finished this absolute masterpiece. So I'm going to talk about my thoughts, feelings, and then I'm also going to discuss 2 other books which I recently read. One being How to Stop Overthinking by Chase Hill and Scott Sharp, and the second being Animal Farm by George Orwell. I also have a cup of tea because I have quite a bit to say, so could be here a little while. This book, The Midnight Library by Haig, I loved this book. I could not put it down. I just wanted to keep reading. I was obsessed. I find that like the change in like setting and story really just kept me, like, it really grabbed my attention. The chapters are really short, so if you're someone that can drift off from a book and stop paying attention, I think this is a good book for you. Trigger warning, it does discuss suicide in it and mental health. So if you're not in a good space right now, I maybe wouldn't recommend, but ultimately I just found this book, I think Coco also said this, Coco Day, that it's like a hug in book form, and that's how it felt to me. Like, I think I am always doubting whether or not I'm on the right path, whether or not I'm doing the right thing in life, thinking about how my life could be if I'd taken different paths and different avenues, and this book just made me feel like I'm on the right path. And you know, it is a fictional book, but knowing that Haig has also struggled with his mental health, like, you do get glimmers of self-help, but in the form of like a fictional story, which I actually really liked. Self-help books really aren't my thing, but the way that it was portrayed in this book, I liked it because I felt really connected to the story and the character, so it almost came across better than if it was just a self-help book. If you haven't read it, sorry I've not explained it, but if you haven't read it, basically it's about this woman who is really unhappy with her life. Her name's Nora, and she enters into this library. I'm trying to tell you what it's about without spoiling it. She enters into this library where each different book is a different life that she could have led if she'd made a different decision. And there's this book called The Book of Regrets, which shows her all her regrets in life, and then she can use that to guide which book and which life she wants to live. As soon as she becomes disappointed in that life, she's transported back to the library, and as the book goes on, I guess it's just about her. I really don't want to give it away, but she comes to a lot of realizations about her life. And as I've said previously, I love the little sprinkling of humour in this book. Like, there's not so much that it's cheesy, there's just enough. And there were some points where I actually did like laugh out loud to myself a little bit. Also, there were parts in this book that made me cry, not gonna lie. There were some bits that were just really hit me and made me reflect on myself. And I love the references to philosophy, which I've also said previously. In this book, Nora studied philosophy at university, and as someone who, I've dabbled in philosophy, I've studied it a little bit. The kind of comments and quotes that came up made me chuckle. All in all, I just love this book. I feel sad because now I'm about to talk about a book that I didn't love so much. Moving on, we've got How to Stop Overthinking by Chase Hill and Scott Sharp. My boyfriend got me this for my Christmas, so I feel a bit bad that I'm about to kind of not say the nicest things about it. I didn't hate it, okay? There were a lot of points in this book that I will take away and were good points. I read it last week, so I'm going to check my little notepad where I've been reviewing all the books I've read. So there was a quote from this book that I liked. It was, "Whatever your core values are, don't stray from them, because the what if games are never fun or helpful." It's really funny that I picked that quote out of this book before I even knew what the Midnight Library was about and before I even read it, because that's very, very fitting. Yeah, there were some parts of this book that were good. I like the parts about how to make decisions. I found that really helpful, very simplified. But I also felt it tried to cover so much ground, it was a little bit scattered, and I think my main annoyance with this, as someone with a psychology background, I study psychology, I've studied counselling, and it just felt like the person who wrote this had read a bit about CBT on Wikipedia or something, and it just felt a very like cognitive heavy CBT aimed book, which I guess the title, How to Stop Overthinking, that is quite a like directive therapy modality style. I don't know, as someone who is just not a fan of the fundamentals of CBT, which I am not, there was a lot about this that I just found a bit problematic. The whole idea of intrusive thoughts and reframing thoughts, sometimes I just find that idea problematic. It's treating the mind as this real separate entity, but that is a story for another day. I actually wrote an essay on this, so I'm quite passionate about it, but I do think it works for some people, don't get me wrong, but I just found this was coming at it from that lens a bit too heavy for me. But having said that, there were some helpful things in this I will definitely take away with me. Here's something that I just found kind of hilarious. They have a reference list at the end, and they genuinely reference Wikipedia here. For one, that's not even a reference list because it's literally just websites. Maybe I'm coming across as an academic snob, but if you're gonna write a book, don't use Wikipedia as a reference. That was just a big no-no for me. So overall, I think I gave this about a 2 out of 5. It has some helpful points, but definitely I would say problematic in parts. Next, we have George Orwell, Animal Farm. Classic, need I say any more? It's about this farm where these animals take over from their master, the farmer, and basically they act like it's going to be this really equal world, but the pigs end up loving power, craving power, and what was meant to be this equal world really isn't. It's like, what's the quote? All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, or something like that, which really just hit me. Yeah, I really like this. I gave it a 3 out of 5, which might sound unfair because I really liked it and nothing was wrong with it. I just preferred 1984. Now I don't know what to read next. It is between these two. We've got Sally Rooney, Conversation with Friends, or Small Pleasures by Claire Chambers. I'm not going to go into what they're about because I've already spoke about that in this very video. I think it's going to be Conversations with Friends, but I also really want to read this book. So yeah, I'm on the fence. I think it will be this though. Me and Ryan are going out for tea tonight and then I'm staying at his all weekend. But I might carry on the vlog. I may vlog a little bit at his when I read. So we're at the beach, trying to, what do you even call it? Skip stones? Whoa!
Sitting in silence, we still feel the vibe, but you could not say a word, and I know what you just decided. We'd be right in the same wave. Oh, the water's perfect, babe. The heat is rising, the time is melting from my fingertips, so nothing compares.
Hello, so it's now Monday. I haven't filmed properly since I think Friday, can't remember, but I'm basically just coming here to sign off the vlog and to give you an update because I have read another book. I went to Ryan's all weekend. I had the nicest weekend. I've been doing a bit of work like over the holidays for uni, but still having the weekends totally off, and it's just been so nice. We had a very relaxing time. We went to the beach, which I think I filmed a little bit of, and I got a lot of reading done. And then today I haven't started reading yet, just been doing a lot of uni work. I got a mark back from a report that I did before the holidays. Really pleased with my mark, but anyway, this is a reading vlog. Sorry if I look a bit rough, I haven't been doing anything today and have this really big spot. My skin's been so good for ages. Anyway, whilst I was at Ryan's, I read this book in 2 days. If I had not been with someone else, like if I was just by myself all weekend, I genuinely think I would have read this in a day. Sally effing Rooney. Even though I finished reading it, okay, I only finished it yesterday, but I'm still thinking about it all the time. I feel like for a while this book is going to be on my mind. Like, I feel exactly how I felt after I watched Normal People, just very heavy with emotions of emotions that I don't really know how to describe. Just, I think if you're not really affected by like love, relationships, friendships, etc., this will be a really easy read. And often I'm only really emotional when books discuss, for one, animals, because I am an animal lover, or things that really make me think, oh my god, like what is the world? Have an existential crisis, basically. But I wouldn't say I'm very much of a romantic person really, but love really can affect me and make me feel really emotional. I feel like Sally Rooney gets a lot of stick. I've heard a lot of people say her writing is very simple, she just discusses mundane things, she states the obvious, blah blah. But that's why I quite like her, to be honest. Like, this isn't a groundbreaking book that covers loads, but at the same time it does cover loads. You know, it covers friendships, relationships, cheating, sex, chronic pain, endometriosis, families. It still does cover quite a lot. And yeah, I first picked it up and started reading it, and the first kind of 20 pages I was just like, meh. And then like from there it just flew and I got so invested. Like, I found myself both hating all of the characters at some points and then both really liking some of the characters at other points. Frances, even though I hated her throughout a lot of the book, there were many things about her that I really related to when she was talking about like coming from a poor background and being surrounded by people with money. I related to that a lot, and I guess her ability to be quite cold emotionally, or at least appear quite cold externally, I also kind of related to. But then there were other things where I would really relate to Melissa and really feel for her, but then at the same time I would hate her and be like rooting for Frances and Nick's relationship. And Nick, I mean, I feel like with a lot of books, when it's a guy who is cheating on their wife, you hate them, but I didn't actually hate him. I found him relatable in terms of like him suffering with mental health issues and not wanting to appear like the sick person. I didn't find that too much of a sob story. Like, I can understand his position, and Melissa had cheated on him too. Just such a good book. The way it ended, I was glad with. I don't know, I feel like I shouldn't be, and I should be like, big spoiler alert, I should be like, no Frances, have nothing to do with it, go and live your life, forget about this complicated mess. But at the same time I was still like longing for them to get together and be together, and I feel like in the end they all knew about each other, they all knew that it was a big complicated mess. So I feel like now I really want to go back, read Normal People. I mean, I'll be a mess after that book. Like, I feel like that was more emotionally hitting at points than this when I watched it. I wish I had read it first. It didn't make me cry, but just feel very heavy today. I just found myself getting to the end of this and not wanting to read anymore because I didn't want it to be over, and now I'm so sad that it's over. That'll be my review. I effing loved this. Now I can't decide what to read. I'm thinking Fahrenheit 451 or 451. I'm looking at it up there. Or Small Pleasures by Claire Chambers. But I feel like I need something that moves totally away from relationships. Like, I just want something that's going to mess with my head in a like dystopian, the world is terrible way. That's what I feel like I need as a break from the like relationship style books. So yeah, I'm gonna end this vlog here, and I'm gonna edit it now and get it scheduled to go on Wednesday. My next reading vlog will probably be an Edinburgh one. I'm probably gonna go book shopping when I go back to uni, but we'll just see how busy I am with uni really starting to get started again. Currently it's Monday the 10th and I'm going back to Edinburgh on the 17th. I do have a lot to do. My dissertation is my child in a minute, so the reading vlogs might calm down, but I am going to be still reading, and hopefully I think what they'll be is more like I'll film a bit each time I read over like a couple of weeks and put that together, rather than like really intensive reading over a few days. Or like if I do some book shopping, I'll just do a book haul and put that up, or just discussing updates. Anyway, I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!